his warrior reputation. Another combination, so calm, so clinical. 24-year-old Pacquiao has ruled the 122-pound division with a pair of iron fists. This is a southpaw who blows opponents away. So does the latest sensation have enough power and desire to end Barrera's dominance? Or will the champion prove once again he is among the very best in the world?
Once again, we're joined by the 1-2 combination of Richie Woodall and Steve Bunce for insight and opinion. And Steve, Barrera's build-up to this fight has been marred with controversy, what with the revelations surrounding his brain operation back in '97, and by the fact that he's had to leave his training camp because of the forest fires in California. So how would that have affected his legendary mental toughness and focus coming into the fight?
He probably doesn't even realise there's been a problem. He woke up one morning, he was in a different training camp. He woke up one morning, he was on the backs of all the sports newspapers because he had an operation 6 years earlier. This guy is cold, he's professional. I don't think it would have affected him. However, he did split from his manager. Ugly split. He says the manager owes him money. The manager says that Marco Antonio Barrera owes him money. That's nasty. That's how the story about the abnormal blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Miller Lite, along with HBO Sports, are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the Featherweight Championship of the World. Brought to you in association with Murad Muhammad's M&M Sports and sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Chairman Leo Vasquez, Executive Director William Kuntz. The scoring at ringside will be done by 3 judges using the 10-point system. The judges are Rick Crocker, Ray Hawkins, and Gail Van Oy. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Lawrence Cole. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from San Antonio, Texas, deep in the heart of Texas, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with black, his official weight, 125 pounds. In his professional career, he has demonstrated amazing power while compiling an outstanding record of 37 victories, including 28 knockouts, with only 2 defeats and 1 bout even, while capturing a world title, which is not on the line tonight. From General Santos City, Philippines, the challenger, the IBF Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Manny Pacquiao. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with black letters, and officially weighing 126 pounds. His professional record is an excellent one, consisting of 57 victories, including 40 knockouts with only 3 defeats, and he is recognized by his peers, the fans, and pundits alike as one of the very best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, de Ciudad de Mexico, el campeón de la gente, the reigning, defending, universally recognized featherweight champion of the world, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Huge support here in Texas for Marco Antonio Barrera. And final instructions from referee Lawrence Cole.
I want to have a good, clean fight, pelea limpia y buena suerte. Good luck. Touch him up.
Interesting avoidance of eye contact on the part of Marco Antonio Barrera, who will be 30 years old on the 17th of January next year. But this is a man reckoned, as was said earlier, pound for pound to be well, one of the best boxers in the world. So it's the best featherweight in the world against the man who for the last few years has certainly been the best super bantamweight in the world. And what an interesting contest this really is going to be. In the white then, the man they call the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. And he's not that much taller, only an inch taller than the little fellow from General Santos City in the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao, the 24-year-old who made his debut at just 16 years of age as a flyweight. Barrera, as always, Duke McKenzie looking nice and economical. That was a slip.
Yeah, it was just a little slip there. There's not a knockdown, but the referee's called it a knockdown. Bad call, I feel. You know, Pacquiao just lost his footing. Barrera just flicked out the shot and over he went. It's not quite right.
Well, needless to say, every single Barrera fan thought this was going to be an early closure for Marco Antonio Barrera. Good left hand into the body by the man in white, Barrera. A man who, well, I think everyone will remember in April of 2001, dethroned Nassim Hamed. Bit of a low blow there from the left hand of Pacquiao, the southpaw, trained by Freddie Roach, reigning IBF Super Bantamweight champion, committed just to 8-13, just a pound under the featherweight limit, and Barrera in great shape, right on that 126-pound limit. So Barrera in white, Pacquiao in red.
This promises to be a real good fight. You know, Pacquiao is just he's a real good pressure fighter. Normally, he likes to come forward and he's a cute southpaw. He likes to throw plenty of bombs from that right hand southpaw stance. But, you know, he's up against the world premiership featherweight in Marco Antonio Barrera.
Well, Pacquiao has been the busier of the two. He was in action in July of this year, defending his Super Bantamweight title successfully, needless to say, against another good Mexican, Emmanuel Lucero. That was in Los Angeles, and he stopped him in 3 rounds, and he is a bit of a banger. And the wonderful thing about Barrera, as we've seen throughout his career, is that he's a real percentage fighter. He doesn't make too many mistakes, and he never throws a punch unless he's going to be sure it's going to land.
Absolutely, there's so much versatility in Marco Antonio Barrera. He's shown throughout the years, when he was even a super bantamweight, he used to go to war, stand toe-to-toe and just bomb guys out. But as he's matured into a really fully fledged featherweight now, he's gone back to just being a consummate boxer. Is longevity going to be in his career, because he doesn't want to be drawn into like a dogfight and get drawn into long hard fights now. He's looking to just try and coast and just get through fights just sensibly with his boxing brain.
This, interestingly, is Barrera's first contest under the promotional banner of Oscar De La Hoya, who set himself up at the head of Golden Boy Promotions. Good fast hands by Barrera, but Pacquiao using that super bantamweight speed of his and getting himself out of the way. Tough little southpaw this, but Barrera has disposed of a few southpaws before, most notably Nassim Hamed. Body and head there right at the end from Barrera. A nice economical run from him, and if the judges at ringside, Rick Crocker, Ray Hawkins and Gail Van Hoy, take that knockdown on board, that was a 10-8 round to Barrera.
It's a 10-8 round to Barrera. You know, I do feel it was a little bit premature. It did look like a slip, but we'll have to wait and see if, well, the referee did take up a count.
Perez sent out Tanaka and Jorge Barrera in Marco Antonio's corner. Familiar figure of Freddie Roach there on his knees in front of Manny Pacquiao.
Double jab, you hear me? You put the double jab, left hand. Okay? Alright? Double jab, left hand.
This may well be the knockdown for that first round. Lovely little exchange there. And well, he was off balance, and perhaps Duke went wrong. It must have been a good shot.
Well, you know, even looking at that, it wasn't really that clear. But, you know, the interesting thing for me here is that these guys are both sort of former super bantamweight world champions. Pacquiao actually started off at the flyweight world championship limit of 8 stone. Then he missed the bantamweights, went straight to the 8 stone 10 division, won a championship there, and now he's up to the 9 stone division to fight Barrera. As Barrera started off at the super bantamweights, was world champion there. I mean, you know, looking at their stature and their physique, Barrera just looks so much bigger.
He looks like a man who's carrying an awful lot more weight. He's much broader in the shoulder and broader in the chest and thicker in the waist. He's keeping those hands of his held high. He doesn't waste too much, Barrera. Arms cold breaks them up. They're scheduled, remember, for 12 3-minute rounds to decide who's the best 9 stone boxer in the world at the moment. Two pretty competitive divisions, you have to say. Derek Gaynor, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Manuel Medina, all really genuine featherweights up there with Barrera. And Pacquiao is taking a big step up into, well, for him, unknown territory.
Barrera settled into a nicer boxing rhythm in this round. He's not getting too carried away. He's going to let Pacquiao come to him where he can counter punch. And I just feel Pacquiao is the hunter, but the hunter will become the hunted the longer this fight goes on. I just see Barrera getting this fight to maybe the halfway stage before he really actually takes control.
Well, he's right in the centre of the ring at the moment, forcing Pacquiao to move round away from him. And again, Barrera just blocking some of those little southpaw jabs. That was a good left, went in from Pacquiao. Barrera counters once again, and Pacquiao says, is that the best you've got? The old cliche, you have to say.
Well, this is what I was saying, you know, Pacquiao's not going to be found wanting. He's trying to set a hard pace, trying to see if he can take Barrera in later rounds. Look at him just pot shot now.
Well, great hand speed from the Filipino, known as the Pac-Man or the Destroyer. He's got the feet nice and square, and he's trying to tease Barrera into dropping. Good little right into the body, so good variation from the IBF Super Bantamweight champion.
There's nice lateral movement as well from Pacquiao. He's not standing still in one position. He's moving from the waist, which is good. He's got his hands up high and his chin down.
This is a much better run from Pacquiao, having lost the first virtue of, by virtue of the knockdown. Barrera unloading. Good response though by Pacquiao. This is a terrific scrap. Solid body shots going in from the Filipino in red. And Barrera's standing a little bit still, and that's rather ominous. Barrera's getting caught. There was a good left one in, right to the face of Antonio Barrera. And he's called the baby-faced assassin. He won't be so baby-faced if he takes too many of those. The pace of that round was about 3 times what it was in the first duke, and I wouldn't be surprised if Pacquiao just nicked that one.
Yeah, Pacquiao did really, really well. He upped his pace really beautifully. If you're cracking right hook, right towards the end of that round, look, I think he's actually cut Barrera, but there's a swelling or there's something going on in that corner. It looks like he's just got a slight abrasion above his right eye, left eye.
Well, the skin hasn't broken, but there's a nasty little graze there. And I want to keep that swelling down as far as possible, because where it is, if it gets worse, you can see the eyelid itself starting to close over. And that's going to affect his vision, because he is a left-handed boxer.
You get too much speed for this man. Alright? Alright, boy. Deep breath now. Nice.
Well, that's an interesting comment from Freddie Roach. He said you've got too much speed for this man, and certainly at points in that second round, that indeed was the case. 2 down, 10 to go. Pacquiao just stretches out that right hand of his, the southpaw that so far has caused Barrera a problem or two. Barrera in white just turned on no more with black, and the man in the red from General City in the Philippines, just 24 years old. Barrera is into his 3rd decade of professional boxing. Made his pro debut at 15 years of age. And at 18 years of age, just a couple of years later, that was a good shot, my goodness! What a shot that was, and Barrera can do nothing but sit down and nod his head and say, that got to me, and that has wiped out the first round. 10-8 advantage to Barrera. That's
incredible. That's incredible. You know, this is what we're not used from Barrera, to seeing him on the deck like this. That was a fantastic shot by Pacquiao, and this kid's been full of confidence before the fight. He said he was going to take the fight to Barrera and nail him early, and that's exactly what he's done.
Well, confidence is simply oozing out of the man in the red trunks, Manny Pacquiao from the Philippines, and that's a sight very few people thought they would ever see in this or any other lifetime. And Barrera's getting caught, and Pacquiao's really taking it to him, and the old Barrera composure has been well and truly rocked, and he got him again with a little right hand.
Oh, he's really just turning on the pressure as Pacquiao now. He's going for broke. You can see and sense victory, and he's really going for it.
Well, he has stopped a lot of opponents. He's coming in here off a succession of KO wins, and he is a big puncher, albeit at 4 pounds lighter than he normally is, or 4 pounds lighter than he's in here tonight.
Well, this is fantastic boxing from Pacquiao. Look at him just throw shots from every angle, quick, fast flurries. Barrera's trying to weather the storm. He needs to try and grab this kid when he comes in, claim him, hold him, do whatever it takes just to get his head clear.
Well, he's under severe pressure, and you've got to say the last time out in March of this year against Kevin Kelly, who was a bit of a shot fighter, was no preparation for this sort of a thing, and Barrera nearly got himself caught again. He's got to box his way back into the fight, get in behind that solid left of his, which has caused so many boxers trouble down the years. But Pacquiao is boxing like a proverbial man on a mission.
Well, this has turned into a real slugfest where both fighters now are just throwing punches with real quality and genuine world class. This is a fantastic round.
Well, if the first round was Barrera's and the second one was Pacquiao's and this one is Pacquiao's, after 3 rounds the man in the red should be in front. A long, long way to go. Now, what psychologically will that have done to Barrera? He's been such a good champion down the years.
Barrera looks a little bit sluggish now, as you might expect his touchdown, but it was a genuine knockdown. It wasn't like the Pacquiao knockdown, where we thought that might have been a slip or a push. Barrera got hit flush and he went down. And Pacquiao's still looking for the knockout. Should get back behind the jab and try and set it up like he did the first knockdown.
Well, it settled down a little bit, and it could only do that after that extraordinary little sequence in the middle of that round. And Barrera looks tired. I mean, the years couldn't be catching up with him. He's still only 29. That hasn't worsened, but they're going to work on it straight away. And what an extraordinary little sequence. An extraordinary middle of that round.
This really will be a turn-up for the boxer if Barrera gets beat tonight, because he's universally recognised as pound for pound the best featherweight in the world. And for Pacquiao to come up from super bantamweight now, challenge Barrera, you know, if he wins, it's going to be great.
Well, there was that left that came straight through. Barrera was so busy avoiding the flailing southpaw right, he tried to get out of the way and left himself open, and Pacquiao was an instinct shot. He just threw that shot and down went Barrera.
Coach is out.
Well, it really was quite an amazing round, and it was Pacquiao who took the contest to the man that well, people think would never be beaten again.
Well, Barrera's an old, you know, he's a real old school fighter. He knows how to react and how to respond if he gets knocked down. You know, we saw it in the Junior Jones fight when he was back down at super bantamweight. He got there and got up to last. You know, he's in it against the young, hungry, very fired up Manny Pacquiao.
Well, Junior Jones beat him twice. Eric Morales beat him once. The first Junior Jones fight was away back in November of 1996. So we're going back some 7 years. Barrera was down twice in that contest, and it was ended because his cornermen got into the ring and it was called off and he was disqualified. And Jones beat him in the rematch.
This is really sensible boxing from Pacquiao. He knows he's hurt Barrera in that round previous, but he hasn't just gone out looking for the finish. He's trying to box his way in and just trying to set it up again.
Well, good foot speed and good hand speed from Pacquiao. He came across with that southpaw right round the guard of Barrera, and Barrera on the back foot does not look the same fighter as the man who tends to dominate from the centre of the ring. And you can nearly see, Duke, that Barrera is thinking to himself, now, this fellow's got something that I've never come across before.
Well, yeah, Barrera just looks a little bit lethargic at the moment. He hasn't quite got into this fight as he would like to have had. But hopefully, if he can get these early rounds out of the way, he can get into a better rhythm and a better stride and start working his jab.
Such a change in pattern. It's Pacquiao in the middle, and a good right and a little left to follow. Barrera not really working to the body the way that we know he can. Again, that fast right hand, and it's the hand speed, as was mentioned by Freddie Roach, that is making the difference at the moment. And Barrera is being backed up. Well, how seriously has he taken this contest, I wonder?
Well, Barrera, you know, he has changed his style over the years, where he likes to fight on the back foot and draw these opponents in where he can counter-punch. But what he's finding is that this kid's got quick hands, and he's meeting him on the back foot with a nice snappy jab and one or two little quick counter-punches, one or two quick fast attacking punches.
Barrera digging in, just 40 seconds to go to the end of round 4. Remember, the schedule for 12 3-minute rounds.
Also, with Barrera fighting the southpaw stance, Pacquiao, he's finding it hard to land that left hook to the body, which he's noted for.
A clash of heads there, accidentally. Barrera stepped a little bit. Good variation from Pacquiao. Still working. Look at the speed of those hands. Oh, there was another good right hand. That was the best shot of that whole round, and this is a round for Pacquiao. Back comes Barrera, but Pacquiao moves away out of range, and look at the bounce of the little Filipino step. He is only 24 years old, remember, and this is his 41st professional contest. He's only lost the 2, one early on and one when he was couldn't make the weight, and he had huge problems making flyweight, and he's moved from flyweight up to super bantam.
Got it.
Just
relax. All right, Manny. Here. More water, Justin.
A bit of bruising underneath his left eye, but what's going on in the Barrera corner? They'll not be happy. Well, that little graze underneath on the left eyelid certainly hasn't worsened. The situation for Barrera hasn't got any better. Round 5. First little tentative jab from the man in white, Marco Antonio Barrera. Disdainfully gave up all claims to having any kind of letters after his name. But is acknowledged pound for pound, as we said before, certainly is acknowledged as the best featherweight in the world, and pound for pound, one of the best boxers in the world at the moment.
Barrera's trying to up his work rate. He's up on his toes just a little bit now. He's just trying to get into this fight, but you know, Pacquiao keeps moving from the waist and it's causing Barrera problems.
Antonio Barrera has his own surname on the front of his trunks, and that of his great friend and rival and Johnny Tapia on the back. He met Tapia a couple of contests ago, just about this time last year, and got an undisputed decision over 12 hard, exciting rounds in Las Vegas, where he's had his last 3 contests. Barrera back to that easy, lazy style of his, just letting his man come on. That's better by him. That was a good, solid, orthodox left jab from Barrera into the face of Pacquiao, who gets him back with a right of his own. This fella's not going to go away, and again, the sheer hand speed, Duke, is proving too much for Barrera.
Well, what Pacquiao's doing, he's leading up with the right hand and then throwing 2, 3, 4 straight punches and catching Barrera, because there isn't any lateral movement from Barrera, and he's catching him. You know, Barrera's going back, but he can't afford to lose these early rounds and try and claw back a deficit at the end of the fight. He won't be able to do it because this kid's 24 years old and he's brimming with confidence and energy.
Well, he certainly is, and again, there's a lovely short chopping right hand landed flush on the jaw of Barrera, who has got a great chin. We've seen him put down.
But if Pacquiao can get through and keep a work rate like this up, going into maybe the 9th, 10th rounds, and he can see the finish line in sight, his pace will actually increase and get quicker. This is good work from Pacquiao.
Well, he moves in and he moves away again, those stinging, hurtful little punches. Rather wild with that clumsy-looking southpaw shot of his.
This will be a massive upset if Pacquiao can beat Barrera, and it'll be even bigger if he can stop him.
We have a long, long way to go. Barrera has never been stopped. He's only lost those 3 times, twice to Junior Jones and once to another great rival, Eric Morales. Both Pacquiao's defeats, incidentally, have actually come by KO, so he is vulnerable.
I just feel that left eye's getting a little bit worse for Barrera. He's starting to bruise and starting to get a little bit more red. Now, this guy's been one of my favourite fights for many a year, back from his super bantamweight days, but right now he's getting outboxed on the inside and on the outside.
The clapper saying 10 seconds to go. Better little finish from Barrera. Not much between them, and there is a look of genuine respect between 2 tough little men. The bruising is pretty bad looking. It's not contest threatening at this stage, it's not by a long way. Well, they're still not happy. Freddie Roach, I'm sure, is happy.
Listen to me. Manny, right here. Listen to me. I want you a little bit busy. Okay? Alright? Right here. The jab, double hand, left hand behind it, okay? Body and head. Okay, don't reach for it. Get a little bit closer. Now you
straight through, and a lovely little short right hand following up from the southpaw lead. Good work by Pacquiao.
Look at the actual concentration in Pacquiao's eyes. He's just so focused, so determined.
Well, this to take us up to the halfway point. 5 rounds gone. Pacquiao in the red, down in the first for a 10-hit round to the man in white. Marco Antonio Barrera himself was down in the third with a very good shot, and that would have leveled it up. But it's Pacquiao who's just got that little snub nose of his in front at the moment because of work like that. In with the right, cross with the left, and away again. And he's putting Barrera onto the back foot.
You would expect Barrera to keep his lead foot on the outside of Pacquiao's right foot where he could get through the jab. That was a tactic he used so brilliantly against Naseem Hamed when he beat him. However, Pacquiao's just not allowing him to set himself and get off with that jab.
Well, you wondered at that stage how focused was Naseem Hamed on the particular job, and you wonder how focused is Barrera on this particular job, but there's no doubt who's the more focused of the two, and that's the wee fellow in red. Better work by Barrera behind that jab, but he's been getting caught. Another good shot from Marco Antonio.
Just look at the hand speed of Pacquiao when he starts to go to work. He'll throw 2, 3, 4 quick, sharp punches. He's always on his toes, he's always bouncing around. He won't stand still for 1 minute.
Good variation to him. Barrera's getting caught, he's looking very flat-footed. Again, Pacquiao confident enough to stand toe-to-toe with a man who can punch a bit himself. 40 out of his 57 victories. Barrera have come. There's a good right hand round the corner from Barrera, and Pacquiao took it, and for the first time since the first round he's been forced back onto the back foot, but he's claiming that it didn't affect him at all. There's a lot of bravado in there, Duke, isn't there?
A lot of bravado in that. You know what it'd be interesting to see if Barrera can actually summon up and conjure up the old sort of Barrera that he used to be of old, when he could stand toe-to-toe and trade with fighters like this. But he's had a lot of hard fights over the years. There've obviously been a lot more chinks in the armour now. Can he withstand these early onslaughts from a young, hungry fighter like Pacquiao?
Barrera now back to the middle of the ring, trying to dictate. And again, that right-left combination from Pacquiao wasn't too far away. Last 3/4 of a minute. Good refereeing so far by Lawrence Cole, but he hasn't really had to do very much. These two seasoned professionals. Oh, good stuff from Pacquiao. The two of them want to get on with this. And again, Pacquiao boxing well on the back foot. Got himself caught with the left hand from Barrera, but in and out very quickly. Those little two-punch combinations are very effective.
They're very effective and they're good scoring shots. And it'll be interesting to see whether Pacquiao can actually maintain this pace for a fourth 12 round.
Well, he's going to have to. Oh, look at that. Was that a slip? That was a slip.
He's hurting Barrera though. When he throws them quick clusters there, you can see Barrera wince. They hurt him physically. He's working Barrera over to the body and head. There it is again.
Too fast with those hands. Great round once again from Pacquiao. And he raises his hands aloft. And a lot of people in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio reckon that we might be looking at an upset. Still a long way to go, and we mustn't preempt anything. Freddie Roach will be very pleased with the end of that round.
Very nice. Watch it, I'll tell you what. Now. Okay.
El gancho al hígado. Avientan el gancho al hígado. El gancho al hígado.
Well, Barrera does not look happy, and he does not look comfortable. And he looks like a man who's probably saying to himself, I might have taken this a bit more seriously. A couple of little shots there from Pacquiao with the left were a bit on the low side. That was a slip, although all the pressure was coming from the man in red from the Philippines. Well, that wasn't a bad shot. Maybe they just got their feet tangled up. I actually didn't see anything wrong with that, Duke.
There didn't look to be anything wrong with that at all. Looked like a punch landed flush, and Barrera went over. He needs to get off at the races now. He needs to start working that jab. Take centre of the ring and start working that jab and get into this fight. He hasn't been allowed to so far.
Well, he's lost the first half of this contest. We're now into the second. And Marco Antonio Barrera, who has treated most featherweights and indeed super bantamweights down the years with considerable disdain and has dispatched them with considerable ease, is under a fair old bit of pressure. Good clubbing, couple of right hands from Barrera though, as if to say to the younger man, come on, you haven't seen the best of me, but look at the speed of Pacquiao's right into the face of Barrera.
You know, Pacquiao's managed to do something that Nazim Hamed couldn't do, and Dec Barrera, Eric Morales couldn't do it, and Dec Barrera. But you know, this young kid managed to do that against the world Premiership fighter.
Barrera looks away. I think he got a shot to that left eye of his, and he's not very happy. And he's complaining. I think there might have been a head there, and I think that might be a cut. Lawrence Cole's bringing them over together. I think he's going to have a word with them both. Watch the head.
Come here, no, come here. Manny. Axel headbutt. Accidental headbutt.
Well, Barrera doesn't think it was accidental, but referee Lawrence Cole has announced to all and sundry that it was an accidental headbutt. Now, it's right on the outside. Had it been another sort of inch or so inside, it would have been, well, it would have caused Barrera great problems, and I think the swelling too in that eyelid is what's causing him problems. And Barrera is getting not just a boxing lesson, but he's getting a head bashing lesson, and he's not very happy.
All right, let's go.
Well, that wouldn't be allowed in a British ring. The blood is coursing freely down the side of Barrera's face, and Lawrence Cole says box on, and Pacquiao doesn't need any second invitation. Well, this is an extraordinary contest that's unfolding in front of our very eyes.
Well, you know, I don't want to say Barrera was looking for the trapdoor, but he was starting to look like real sorry for himself there. He's cut. It's not a terrible cut, but he is cut, and it's cause for concern. But Pacquiao is going to really go for that cut now. That'll bring him back to life even more so. Look, he's
squinting again, absolutely. He's squinting, not just with the pain. Pacquiao really going for him. He needs to focus on that old good body shot by Pacquiao, and an uppercut from the Filipino with the right hand. And Barrera's under fierce pressure. I've never ever seen Barrera take this sort of punishment before.
Oh, Barrera's had an absolute nightmare in there. Pacquiao knows how to use his head as well. Look at the head going in now. He knows exactly what he's doing. He needs to up the pace, keep that blood flowing, keep them hooks coming round, cause a worse cut. Maybe the fighter gets stuck in cuts. If not, he'll be looking for the knockout.
Well, this fella has had a wonderful record.
Even if they go to the scorecards, you know, you can't help but think that Pacquiao's in front. He's winning the rounds. But look at this from Barrera.
Oh, that's wonderful from Barrera. Back he comes. great Mexican support here. Pacquiao holds up the hands as if to say, I can take everything you've got, and how many little flurries like that can Marco Antonio Barrera produce? He looked like his old self there, but only for about 10 seconds, and he'll need to find an awful lot more. A glance by the referee in the direction of Barrera just to see how bad that eye is. It doesn't seem to be oozing any more blood, but needless to say, the corner will go straight to work on it. And again, Pacquiao showing great variation. And there was a bit of a head went in. Oh yes, head went in from Barrera. Lawrence Cole said, I saw that, don't do it again.
Well, Barrera's given as good as he's getting, obviously, but Pacquiao won't be denied. He sees this as his big opportunity to gate crash into the real big league, the real big paydays, and he's going for it.
Well, another terrific round, and not for Marco Antonio Barrera. That is just a little nick. It's not quite threatening at this stage, but it's nasty enough. Doesn't need that much work on it. I think it's near almost closed over itself, but straight away with the adrenaline solution swab. What an extraordinary round. What a bad round that was for Barrera. Under pressure, cut, and in trouble.
Barrera looks really unhappy with himself, as you might expect. You know, he's been down on the canvas, he's cut, he's behind on points. He tried it in the last bit desperation effort, but look at this onslaught from Pacquiao. Body and head, look at them body shots sinking in. Then he switches the attack, but Barrera looks away.
Well, claiming there was an accidental, but the referee, as it turned out, agreed with him with a two-fisted attack. There was Barrera right at the end. That's what he got told off for. He really had to go at Pacquiao with his own head. Well, that's nice to see them touch gloves after what was a frenzied, frenetic and very untidy, but utterly compelling 7th round. Barrera now standing, as he likes to do, in the middle of the ring, but he's in against a little fella who's shown him no respect whatsoever.
You know, all records are there to be broken, standards are set to be made, and again they're there to be broken. Could we see this Marco Antonio Barrera get, you know, unhinged, come apart at the seams almost?
Well, he needs to find an awful lot more. He had a couple of huge wars with Eric Morales. Oh, there was another great right hand, and again a clash of heads, and Barrera's in trouble. Pacquiao's really gone for him, and Barrera's looking at the referee and shaking his head, and I've never seen Barrera do that. Barrera is very uncomfortable, Duke, and he's very unhappy in there.
All of the danger signs are being flashed before Barrera, looking to referee for assistance. He's not going to get it, he's in a fight. You know, he got hit with a head, he got hit with an elbow, and then he got hit with punches after that.
Well, Barrera has got to dig himself out of the hole that he's made for himself. Pacquiao is outboxing him, and more importantly, he's out-punching him, and he's out-muscling him.
Absolutely, you know, this kid hasn't stopped throwing punches. He's set a real hard pace, and he looks like he's going to be able to maintain it. Look at this guy go to work.
The referee, Barrera falling short. Such a contrast in hand speed. Barrera more used to standing and dictating and fending off and blocking and then countering. But Pacquiao has got his punches in first, and then he hasn't been there when a rather laboured Barrera has tried to answer him, and again into the body. Good footwork by Pacquiao.
Even now as we enter the last quarter of the fight, we're still seeing that lateral movement from Pacquiao. And he moves from side to side, and he's still bouncing up and down on his toes. You know, youth will bring that for you, where you can just keep this going for the full duration of the fight. Barrera's had a lot of hard fights, and he's starting to show, certainly in this fight, you know, battle scars.
Well, we first really saw Pacquiao when he came in as a late substitute in June of 2001 and dethroned a very good South African, Lelo Ledwaba, for the IBF Super Bantamweight title. And since then, he's been unbeaten and unbeatable. Just one draw since then.
This is better boxing from Barrera now. He's just trying to force Pacquiao onto the back foot, and he's getting some success. But back comes Pacquiao.
Rather laboured Barrera, though, leaning in and trying to dig in with that left of his. And Pacquiao not being there when Barrera threw the shots. Well, there's the golden boy himself, who lost last time out. And I think his future probably lies in a promotional role. I wonder, is he going to see one of his headliners lose here tonight? Looks terrific, Oscar De La Hoya. There's a nasty little nick that Barrera has sustained, and that was early on. It was an accidental headbutt.
And we see that they're attending to that cut there on Barrera's eye. He's got a slight swelling underneath the eye as well. And just saw Oscar De La Hoya in the audience there, just motioning to the referee that he thinks that his charge has been headbutted.
Well, there was nothing wrong with that. There was a little clash of heads, but that was on the other side, and Barrera went back, and I think that clash was accidental. But this little fella doesn't have to be shown the way around the ring. He knows what his head's for, and his elbows, and more importantly, his fists and his feet. Again, they touched gloves, and it was a rather half-hearted little tap there by Marco Antonio Barrera.
I feel that Pacquiao is going to start really stepping on the gas, you know. He must know. Oh, look at Barrera start this round.
Well, I think Barrera may well have said, if I don't start doing something, I'm going to lose this contest. And Barrera started off well. Pacquiao comes straight back at him. Barrera's left hand is not making contact with Pacquiao's. A wonderful left from Pacquiao. He really has extraordinary hand speed, and for such a slight little frame, he does look like a flyweight chick. There's huge power in there.
He carries power. He's carried his power throughout the weights. You know, it's good to see, obviously, but this is what I expected from him. He knows he's got 3 rounds to go, and I expect him to really get on with the power and start throwing real big power shots. You can see the finish line in sight. If he can get to the end of this round and the preceding 2, then you know he's going to be champion.
Into the second minute of round 9, and then scheduled for 10, 11 and 12, and again it's Pacquiao getting in and out again, and Barrera's face is really reddening up and the hands have dropped, and Barrera's defense is looking a little bit on the wobbly side, and he's going simply on experience at the moment, and unless Barrera finds something special, he's not going to win this.
Oh, bad call. I think the referee's going to take 1 point off Barrera. There we go.
Minus
punching
one.
After the bell.
Minus one. Minus one.
Punching after the bell.
All right.
Taking a point away. Lost the round.
You okay?
Well. Blood streaming down his face. He has been down on the seat of his pants, and he's had a point deducted in this run, and that is not going to go well for Barrera. So Barrera at this stage may well need to stop Manny Pacquiao of General Santos City in the Philippines, the world's #1 super bantamweight, and the way he's going, he's about to become the world's #1 featherweight, and he's catching Barrera at every turn and with every shot, and Barrera half-heartedly is missing. Again the heads clash ominously. You've got to step back on the command break and certainly on the command stop, and you're not allowed to hit until the command box is given. Those are the rules.
Yeah, we've had every sort of drama in this fight you can possibly imagine. You know, the cut, the knockdown, the point deduction, the clash of heads, there's been everything. But to top it all, we've had quality boxing from 2 world-class performers. And this kid Pacquiao is really just boxed out of his skin.
Again, Barrera's timing is just ever so slightly off, and he's not following it up. He's not really doing enough. He's not forcing the pace now, which he certainly needs to do at this stage of a contest which is gradually and inexorably slipping away from him. Good shot once again by Pacquiao, and again his hand speed is too much for Barrera.
He's hurt Barrera, and look at this kid go to work. He doesn't go head hunting, and all the time Barrera cries to the referee, this kid's still throwing punches.
Well, Barrera's complaining that there was another head went in there, and Barrera's holding on, and this is not the Marco Antonio Barrera that we've seen on our last few visits to the United States. And look at him, his legs have gone, he's holding on to the ropes. Marco Antonio Barrera is very, very unhappy, and I'm not sure that he's got it deep down within his soul to come back and do anything about it. He has to find something extraordinary in the last couple of rounds.
I need to knock out to win, in my opinion. You know, he's a mile behind on points, and this kid's not going to be denied. Pacquiao just keeps coming at him, keeps throwing those quick, sharp combinations. Barrera's looking really disconsolate. His confidence is going totally out the window.
Man, I want you to sit down with some power shots now. You hear me? Okay? All right? Manny, you set it up behind the jab. All right? And set the power left hand up. Now, look for it over.
Well, what a little bundle of mischief this fella is, and look at the shot, he's getting right round underneath, and there was a sweet, look at that, body and head again, and all the pressure coming from Pacquiao, and nothing. Well, that was the hit after the command was given, and that's what cost Barrera yet another round, and I have got certainly Pacquiao ahead by at least 4, possibly 5 rounds.
Well, as you would expect, Freddie Roach has just told his charge to set down on your punches now, start looking for the knockout, which is totally what I thought he would do.
Well, nobody has ever stopped Marco Antonio Barrera. Remember, he's only lost 3 contests, 2 to Junior Jones and 1 to Eric Morales. The Junior Jones first one was, as we've said before, a disqualification because his corner came into the ring after Barrera was down. but he has never been stopped. I'm sure he doesn't want that to happen. I'm sure he still feels that he's got something in there that will win this contest. But we're not sure that he has. Good footwork once again by Pacquiao, and he's really roughing Barrera up, and this is a sight that nobody ever thought they would see.
Well, you know, Pacquiao's hit Barrera all too easy in this fight for my liking. You know, Barrera really does show the signs of having a long, hard career.
He still is only 29, but he's been boxing professionally since he was 16 years old, and that was some 14 years ago. And this is a young, hungry, aggressive, completely uninhibited boxer from the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.
But Barrera just can't seem to keep him off. Certainly not at close quarters or at long range. This guy's he is a real predator. I thought the pattern of this fight would have changed at the halfway mark, but this kid's managed to maintain a real hard pace.
Well, with all due respect to Johnny Tapia and Kevin Kelly, Barrera's last two opponents, Tapia a year ago and Kelly in March of this year, they too were probably well past the old sell-by date, Duke, but this fella hasn't even reached that yet. He's not even thinking about it, Pacquiao, and again Barrera complains.
But you know, he can't keep crying like that. You know, the kid, he's losing the fight. He's got to just shake that off and get back to basics. He needs to knock out to win, so he's going to go looking for it. The danger there, though, is that he leaves himself open to Pacquiao's quick, sharp, snappy punches.
Well into the last minute of the 10th round, and then two more to go. And Barrera, we do feel, needs to stop this little whirlwind from the Philippines, who's blown in from not too far from Manila and is threatening to blow away Marco Antonio Barrera. Barrera's moving away. There's a bit of a bounce there on the step, but the bounce in the step is not going to be enough. He's got to put the power in the punch. That was better from Barrera, but Pacquiao took it and it just slid away from him. Last few seconds of this round, and again it's Pacquiao coming forward. Not much between them in this round, but I do have a feeling, Duke, that Pacquiao has done enough at this stage.
It's a very,
he's got him again. Good right hand.
It's quite an even round, but the harder punches are from Pacquiao.
Tapia on the back of Barrera's shirt, I think is also at ringside, will be cheering on his old foe and his great friend. But I think deep down just about everybody in San Antonio, Texas knows that this man is going to win this contest unless Barrera finds something hugely special.
2 rounds to go. Your tongue out, tongue out. 2 rounds to go. You hear me? I want you to pick it up. Okay. Now, Manny, you followed him that whole round. You gotta cut the ring off. You know how to, don't follow this man. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Now here, he's walking right into the hook, right? Yeah. Okay, let's put the hook left hand together. ¿Entiendes?
Brother Jorge, head coach Rudy Perez, I think can only offer out a little bit of hope. Look at the speed of that left hand from Pacquiao, got right through the guard of a fastly tiring Marco Antonio Barrera.
I just wonder what Barrera's going to do now, you know, to this kid, because he just can't keep him off.
Round number 11, and it's been a contest that could well result in one of the upsets of this year, if not indeed the boxing decade at the start of this new millennium so far. Marco Antonio Barrera in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, and what memories that certainly conjures up. But it's the man from the Philippines in red, Manny Pacquiao, just 24 years old. He'll celebrate his 25th birthday a week before Christmas, and what a Christmas present it would be if he could take the scalp of Marco Antonio Barrera.
You see, every time Barrera moves around to his left to try and get authority with his jab to keep his foot on the outside, Pacquiao just comes back round to that opposite side and just starts working away.
Well, a lot of wildness in the work now of Barrera. There's no nice smooth rhythm, and there's no pattern there, and Pacquiao is bouncing and he's really picking him off, and it's Pacquiao who's making the ring that little bit smaller and making life a little bit more difficult with every shot for Barrera. Good right hand once again from Pacquiao. Decent footwork from Barrera, managed to get out of the way.
See, Pacquiao's really injected a lot of pace into these closing rounds now. You can see the finishing line, he's just going for it. It's just nice snappy boxing, not loading up, just intent to throw quick clusters of punches.
Well, this fellow is very super fit, Pacquiao, and once again you've got to say, how seriously has Barrera taken this? Did he think that a man coming up from super bantamweight division, as he himself did with great success, would have the power that Pacquiao has? And I suddenly think that he's estimated Manny Pacquiao's sheer strength.
Marco Antonio Barrera looks really tired now and out of sorts mentally. His mind's totally not in the fight. He's not focused. Well, he's never really been focused in this fight because this kid hasn't allowed him to settle.
Good shot. That was a great right hand by Pacquiao. And Barrera's wobbling. Barrera's under all sorts of pressure and he's down on one knee. And the referee looks round to see if the timekeeper has started the count, and he has. And Barrera takes another count. Well, he's never, ever been comprehensively out-muscled as badly as this, and he's really tired, Barrera. And all of a sudden, with 30 seconds to go, a lot of the strength seems to be ebbing away from Barrera. There's a bit of a bounce there. Pacquiao gets him again with a right. Barrera on the back foot, he's wobbling. Pacquiao is coming forward. Barrera trying to stay there, and he's in reverse all the way through. Pacquiao is going for him. Pacquiao really is going for him. This is unbelievable. A modern-day legend is being dismantled, and the little fella from the Philippines is pouring it on, and it's been stopped. Unbelievable. Barrera's corner have come in and said, we can't let you go on anymore, and it's all over. And this is an upset of cataclysmic proportions. Manny Pacquiao, just 24 years of age, from the Philippines, has moved up 4 pounds and has dismantled a modern boxing legend with absolute skill and power and certainty.
And also, you know, this is what makes this kid so great now. He's a triple-weight world champion. You know, he's gone from flyweight to super bantamweight, now to the featherweight division, and beaten pound for pound the people's champion. Everybody that thought that Michael Antonio Barrera was the people's champion at featherweight, you know, the supreme featherweight out there, nobody could touch Barrera, but this kid's just totally pushed him up.
Well, Manny Pacquiao sinks down on his knees in his corner and gives thanks for the inspiration behind what has been, without a single shadow of a doubt, his greatest performance to date, and one of the greatest performances ever witnessed against Marco Antonio Barrera. He had a couple of mighty wars with Junior Jones and with Eric Morales, and he emerged from those with a fair degree of credit, but he had never ever in his life been stopped before. And Manny Pacquiao, the Pac-Man, the destroyer they call him, has destroyed Marco Antonio Barrera. And right from the outset, when Barrera found himself in trouble, you did have the feeling that it wasn't going to be Barrera's night. And look at Pacquiao, no respecter for any legend or any reputation whatsoever. And in his first fight for Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, well, Barrera has gone the way of the Golden Boy and has lost, but has lost in spectacular fashion as Manny Pacquiao systematically took him apart. And it was a sad Barrera right at the end who could do absolutely nothing. And right at the end, the men in his corner decided that they didn't want to see their favourite son take any more punishment. What a finish, Duke.
It was a fantastic finish, but as we said earlier, we expected this kid to step on the gas going into the 9th round because he could see the finish line, and he finishes this fight like a 100-metre sprinter. He just doesn't stop throwing punches, but the angles that he creates from these punches, body and head, he hasn't just gone punching the head punching, he's looking to the head, the body as well. It's fantastic boxing from this kid. Well done.
What a finish. And Barrera's corner stepped in, and nobody would have predicted that at all. What a finish by this little fella. No wonder for the first time he's grinning from ear to ear. A disconsolate baby-faced assassin, hugged by his old pal Johnny Tapia, the man whom he beat a couple of fights ago, and he's been working with Johnny Tapia.
The end comes in round number 11. The official time, 2 minutes, 56 seconds, as referee Lawrence Cole calls a halt to the action. The winner and new featherweight champion of the world, Manny